on graduation.
Murrow News 8 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kirsten Rosser.
And I'm Promise Calloway. Welcome back to Murrow News 8.
Just 30 minutes ago, WSU administrators went live to update the public on the state WSU operations. 6 different admin hosted the town hall to answer questions that were sent in, while some experts answered live questions in the comment section. Interim Provost Brian Slinker introduced a Wi-Fi hotspot service for students. Murrow News 8 confirmed that any student can apply for a free WSU Wi-Fi hotspot on the Provost website, meaning students that relied on campus Wi-Fi to complete work will now be able to access the same Wi-Fi remotely. Another hot topic was refunds. Refunds on sports passes, tuition, dining, housing, just to name a few. Jill Creighton of Student Affairs informed us that decisions regarding fees will be made by April 30th.
Washington State University will continue to keep classes online this summer. WSU President Kirk Schultz announced during his presentation to the Faculty Senate last night. Although summer classes remain online, WSU is hoping to return to in-person classes this fall. He also added that WSU is expected to lose about $13 million this spring in housing and dining fees. That will be refunded back to students. Schultz announced that WSU will also receive $21 million in the federal government's coronavirus stimulus package and assured that none of the relief money will go towards Cougar athletics.
Next, we have Asher Line live in Great Falls with a closer look on COVID-19 and its effects on Washingtonians. Asher?
Hey, Kirsten. So thanks to some WSU researchers, we now have a much better understanding of how vulnerable Washingtonians are to be infected with COVID-19. This map you see is from the Chase Lab at Washington State and shows the state of Washington and how susceptible each area is to the virus. The map was created by taking population density and several other factors into consideration, as well as populations of people 65 and older. Now you see the slider at the bottom of your screen and it's at 0 right now. This indicates which counties are at or above the given risk score, so everyone will be highlighted at 0. But now when you start to drag it up, you see some counties are not highlighted anymore, and you can see which counties and cities are at the highest risk. Right now, the lowest risk in the state is Richland with a score of 8 out of 100, and the highest risk city is currently Longview with a score of 75. Spokane and Pullman both have a high risk at the moment. Spokane sitting at 65, and Pullman is at 41 right now. So just remember social distancing rules, washing your hands frequently, etc. And unfortunately, they only have data for Washington State. So if you live in another state like me, I'm in Montana, you might not be able to find out exactly how vulnerable your area is, but if you are within the borders of the Evergreen State, you can use this map to determine the vulnerability risk of your area. Reporting from Great Falls, Montana, I'm Asher Line for Murrow News 8. Back to you, Promise.
Thanks, Asher. Unemployment processors are adding staff to try to keep up with the volume of calls and claims statewide. The Spokesman Review reports that policy analyst Marina Hernandez simplified and sped up the process by levying certain restrictions in light of the pandemic, such as actively seeking employment. There is also a separate benefit program, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, which will be available to people that have lost their jobs because of COVID-19. The catch is the website is not yet up and running, but is aiming for an opening in about a week on the 18th.
Inmates who are in prison in the state of Washington for nonviolent offenses may be getting out sooner than planned as the state responds to the area outbreak of coronavirus. Governor Jay Inslee said that the Department of Corrections has not yet released those inmates because officials would have to reconsider procedures for early release. 6 inmates have already tested positive for COVID-19, and this has been the main drive behind the anger and fear these inmates have been feeling. Inslee says, quote, it involves creating an environment so that incarcerated individuals don't reoffend. The department wants to help those folks along that path.
The Community Action Center in Pullman is launching a new fundraiser campaign to help out local restaurants and those in need. The fund is called Pullman Serves It Forward, and they are collecting donations to pay for gift cards at local restaurants that will be distributed to those in need in the Pullman community. It looks like Pullman is experiencing some warmer weather. Caitlin, how long can we expect that?
Thanks, promise. Yes, Pullman is seeing warmer weather, and it looks like it will be sticking around. Sunny day today with a high of 68. A west wind in the afternoon could bring in gusts as high as 24 miles per hour. Tonight we'll see a low of 41 and an increase in clouds. Tomorrow, Saturday, will cool off with a high of 51. It will be partly sunny, but there is a 40% chance of showers, so be aware you may need a jacket. Saturday night will be clear, but with a very cool low of 23 degrees. Taking a look at the state as a whole, over on the west side, Olympia is looking mostly sunny with a high of 62 and a low of 41. Seattle looking similar, sunny with a high of 63, while central Washington is heating up. Yakima mostly sunny with a high of 76. Tri-Cities even warmer with a high of 78. Looking at eastern Washington, Spokane is sunny with a high of 71. All around, you can see the state is experiencing warmer weather. Moving on to the 5-day. Sunday will be sunny with a high of 50 degrees, clear night with a low of 25. Monday will continue to see sun with a high of 52 degrees, a low of 27 with partial clouds at night. Tuesday, the sun will continue shining with a high of 60, so slightly warmer than Monday. Tuesday night, low will be a bit warmer at 36 degrees. Wednesday will be mostly sunny, a high near 61, with a slight chance of rain, but only 20%. Wednesday night, we'll see an even warmer low of 40 degrees with partial clouds. That's all from me. Back to you, Kirsten.
Thanks, Caitlin. Now we have Luke Hudson with more happening in the world of sports.
Thanks, Kirsten. Now, Creme 2 News out of Spokane took a look at both Gonzaga basketball teams in a special that's airing again on Sunday, and it's also online as well. Now, parts of the piece focus on seniors, showing some of their favorite moments and interviews from features done on stars from the men's and women's teams. The first segment looks at some of the top 5 worthy moments each team had this season, and others focus on topics such as freshman Drew Timm and his famous handshakes. Some positive news related to COVID-19. Eastern Washington University head football coach Aaron Best is doing his part to help the university in the face of the virus. According to Creme 2 News, Best voluntarily reduced his salary by 10%. According to fiscal.wa.gov, which is a website that shows the salaries of every state employee in Washington, his salary in 2018 was $193,200. There isn't any data for 2019 or 2020 yet. Now, 10% of that would be $19,320. He told Creme 2 he is doing this, quote, to do my part for our university and athletic department, unquote. He also made it clear on Twitter that this pay cut was not because of any financial troubles the university is facing, and it's just to help out due to the financial burden the virus is placing on schools across the country. This year's Summer Olympic Games, were supposed to take place in Tokyo. They were already postponed to summer 2021, but now there are questions about whether that delay is long enough. Tokyo Organizing Committee CEO Toshiro Muto said at a remote news conference he cannot guarantee that the games will happen then. According to King 5 News, the Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, has been criticized for an alleged slow response to COVID-19. Some political opposition leaders suggested that he wanted to keep the games in Japan and softened the seriousness of the virus to keep them there. Now that wraps up a quick bite of sports for the day. Back to you, Kirsten.
Thanks. Well, while everyone is social distancing, the residents of Sesame Street just can't be alone for much longer. So they're organizing a virtual play date. That's right, on Tuesday the 14th. You and your family can join Elmo, Cookie Monster, and their friends for a 30-minute special. And it's not just friends on Sesame Street. Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda, along with actress Anne Hathaway, will also stop by to say hello. That's all from us today here at Murrow News 8.
You can watch us live on YouTube every weekday at 5:30.
News content can still be found at nwpb.org/MN8, and don't forget to follow us on social media.
Have a good night, stay home, and stay healthy.